live. Once again, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. We're on the cusp of a long weekend, so I just want to say thank you so much for your time today. We'll be together for about an hour. I hope it's time well spent. By way of introduction, my name is Jack. I'm our Director of Community Impact here at Network for Good, and I'm just so excited to be with y'all in this virtual space. A couple of housekeeping notes before we get into today's content. One, this session is being recorded, so if you do have a distraction on your end, if you have a pressing issue that you need to take care of, just know that we will send out this recording and follow up. You can review it at your convenience. We encourage you to share it with your stakeholders as well. I'll be sharing a slide deck here momentarily. Take all the notes that you'd like, but just know that the slide deck will be sent as well. Lastly, I have some teammates here that y'all will get to meet, Taj and Chala from the Jumpstart team, which is our topic of discussion today, the Jumpstart program. If you have any questions as we go along here, please feel free to enter them in the chat. We're here to answer them. But the learning won't stop here, of course. We'll talk a bit more about the action items at the end to learn more and apply for this grant-funded opportunity. But you'll also have a chance to meet with Chala one-on-one so she can share her calendar link in the chat at some point, and it'll also be available to y'all to meet with her over the next month as you consider this fundraising capacity building program. But without further ado, I'm just so first thankful and appreciative of our partners at Central Carolina Community Foundation and United Way of the Midlands. They are making this work possible. We've been working with the Community Foundation for it feels like a lifetime because it's become such a wonderful partnership that I just hold so dearly in my heart. But it's been, I think, 5 years now.
5 or 6, yeah.
Going on 6. Yeah, we're past our toddler years of our partnership. And likewise with Elliot and United Way, it's such a wonderful budding partnership with you as well. Would love to give the mic to y'all for just a moment. We'll hear more from Haley and Elliot at the end. But would y'all like to kick off with some brief opening remarks?
Sure, I can speak for a second. My name is Haley Brazier. I'm a program officer at Central Carolina Community Foundation. And yeah, we've been doing the Jumpstart program for a number of years. I love it. I hear really good things from all of our current and former grantees. And so we're excited to offer this grant opportunity again to Midlands nonprofits, and also excited to work directly with United Way of the Midlands on this too. Since we're both doing kind of the same work here, we thought, well, let's try to work together and collaborate a little bit more. So Elliot, if you want to say anything, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm Elliot Epps, and my job is I'm Director of Leadership and Capacity at the United Way of the Midlands, and they created that title around capacity, trying to build that area of trying to help nonprofits do their jobs better and be more of a support. And I recognize all the amazing work that Central Carolina Community Foundation does around this area. And so as sisters of charity and together I see, and so whatever I can do to us to work together so that we don't replicate things and do the most we can with our resources to support y'all out there is what we're trying to do.
Very well said, Elliot and Haley. Likewise, I'll go ahead and share my screen, and we'll get into today's session today. I see a few new folks have joined, so thank you so much for being here with us today. And if you're watching this recording after the fact, thank you so much. But let's go ahead and get into today's agenda. With introductions out of the way, I'm going to turn it over to Chala here momentarily. You've heard mention of Jumpstart now over emails and a little bit in our introductions. Chala is going to kick us off with an explanation of what the program is, a bit of history on how we brought it together, who we are at Network for Good. We're actually in the process of becoming a new family of companies called Bonterra. So she'll make sense of that. We all come from Network for Good and are very excited about our new journey becoming Bonterra. But Jumpstart's the program. We'll be talking about Jumpstart today. And Chala will talk a bit about her own experience. She is a Jumpstart graduate. She'll talk about the human support that's provided by the program. That's kind of the heartbeat of what we do, our coaching and our technical assistance team. Then we'll turn it over to Taj. He will take us on a tour of the fundraising technology. the platform that is a big part about what we do and sort of where we see the rubber meet the road. That marriage between coaching and technology is really the foundation of Jumpstart. So we'll talk a lot about that. We'll share some local success stories from the Midlands. We will talk through some program expectations. As much as this program can be, extremely helpful and sometimes transformative, it does require time. So we want to make that very clear, is that the sort of time and investment that you put into Jumpstart will ultimately drive what you get out of it. When what you get out of it is generally what we hope to pursue with you in partnership, which is growing fundraising outcomes, more community engagement, a broader base of community support, and then of course sustaining those outcomes. Those are sort of the main tenets of what we do with Jumpstart. We'll talk through some questions and next steps at the end. I'll turn it back over to Haley and Elliot to talk through next steps if you'd like to apply for a grant to be considered for this program. But I'll go ahead and turn it over to Chala, our community engagement manager, to kick things off.
Thanks, Jack. Good morning, everybody. So excited to be here with you all. Well, yep, it's still morning. We got a few minutes before for noon. So thank you all for taking out this time on a Friday and right before a holiday weekend to be here with us. We hope that what you hear today will inspire you to do something amazing for your organization, to take it to the next level if it's a good fit for you. So I'll jump right into it. Network for Good has been around for over 20 years, and our concentration has always been on supporting small to mid-sized, mostly community-based organizations. In the last few years, the Network for Good company has joined with a few other social good companies, and the mission is still the same. We're still supporting those small to mid-sized nonprofits. Just a name change, really, but the goal and mission is still the same. You might be aware of Network for Good's name, as maybe you've received emails from us or attended a webinar. You've received checks from us as we process online gifts in partnership with many different groups. And so Network for Good, just so you can understand exactly what it is, Network for Good is now what we call the platform, and the software, the technology is Network for Good. The program that we're asking you to think about being a part of is Jumpstart, and that is the opportunity to combine technology, coaching, and human support to raise individual gifts. But Jumpstart as a fundraising program is built just for you. It's not a one size fits all. It's where we meet you where you are to help you elevate your fundraising. The concept was all about blending together resources that were historically separate, such as coaching, technology, technical assistance, and peer learning. And we have had foundations from all over the country support this program for their nonprofit community. And it has really been powerful in helping those organizations grow their individual support. So let's talk about the Jumpstart team and the human support that you'll receive in the program. So this is all about the human support that comes with Jumpstart. But more broadly, this slide shows the folks involved in making the program successful. I'll talk more about our coaches on the next slide, but they are the heart of the Jumpstart program. They're your strategic partner, and they are both fundraising experts as well as great teachers. So just like any team that you think of, if you're football fans, you have a great coach and you have a success team, and then you have the nonprofit leader. In this case, we would say that that's the quarterback that would lead this team to have a victorious year. So the second piece of, as far as human support, is our success team. And they are the team of talented people who assist with all things technical assistance. They start with data support, consolidating, formatting, and organizing data. But they are also there in the form of individual meetings when it comes to onboarding. They offer office hours every day and can be called on during business hours as well. Last but certainly not least, the quarterback, the nonprofit leader, which is you. And if you haven't been told this recently, you are a superhero. And our communities are greatly benefit from the work that you do every day. Related to this program, success is found when the participating nonprofits put in the time, and as much as we can provide strategic help, technical assistance, and the tools. The reason that this program is successful is because nonprofit leaders engage the community and receive support from individuals. So let's talk about the personal fundraising coach. So we source our fundraising experts nationally. They average about 19 years of fundraising experience. So that's a lot of experience in fundraising. So they're aware of all of the trends, the ebbs and flows of fundraising. On day one of the program, you would be provided with profiles and you would choose your coach. according to what their expertise is and how it blends with your mission and what your goals are for the year. It's a virtual engagement, and you would schedule your meetings with the coach through the platform that Taj will show us in just a little bit. Typically, you would meet with them 1 to 4 times a month, or either 30 or 60-minute sessions. You pick the what's available for your calendar. And we noticed that those that are really successful meet with their coaches about 2 to 4 times a month. So you can schedule that around what's going on with your organization to make sure that you're meeting with your coach, building a relationship so that your coach gets to know more about your organization and can support you in a way that will help you to grow. As it says, the role is to help you see opportunities, understand trends, and implement solutions. They meet nonprofits where they are and assist organizations based on their goals and fundraising aspirations. And this is really true. I can speak to it from my own experience with Girls Inc. of Memphis. As a director of development, when I was first coming in, there was a lot of transitioning happening. We were getting ready for our 75th anniversary. We also didn't have a team in the development department. So I was hiring staff at the same time, and then trying to make sure that we're keeping up with the daily donor management that needed to occur. So when my CEO was like, hey, I need you to go to this meeting with this coach from Network for Good, I was not happy about that. I was just like, wow, another meeting on my calendar. And so during that time when I met with my coach, who was John, it was amazing. He was able to tell me all of the things that the previous team had started to do, things that we needed to start doing and getting ready for our end of the year giving, and also what ways we could achieve some of the goals that I had in mind for the organization, implementing new thought patterns, making sure that we had newsletters that came out timely. And so in doing that, we created what we considered our strategic plan, and we worked that plan. He asked me about my goals. My goals were very small. I was like, if we do $5,000, that's great for end of the year giving. Mostly just thinking about Giving Tuesday. I was like, if we do $5,000, I just got in here, like that'll be amazing. He was like, Charlie, I think we could do more. And I was like, okay, you have your goal, I'll have mine. And at the end of the year, when we got ready to present to our board what we did for end of the year giving, I was amazed because we ended up raising $38,000. And we were able to do that by working with our coach and really working the plan. So sticking to our plan and making sure that we made time to meet with our coach and then implement the things that we came up together. So a lot of that was built around goals and our milestones. So let's talk about on the next slide is how this program actually works and how we're able to keep up with it. And that's through our educational curriculum and our milestones. And so our milestones are a way to put some structure around a year-long program because you have this opportunity for a year with your coach. They are essentially goals created by the nonprofits and working with their coach from the beginning. And like I said, this is not one size fits all. It's where we meet you where you are and help you to grow. So everybody's milestones and goals will look different. And that's the great thing about having the coaching because they can really help you to specialize what that looks like for your organization. Milestones are unique to each organization, and they are truly goals. And there's no problem if an organization were not to hit their milestones. It's all about having something to shoot for within a particular period of time. So with that being said, I will pass things back over to Jack so that Tosh can give you a tour of what the technology looks like.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chala. We're certainly going to touch more on our coaching throughout the program. As Chala said, it's sort of the heartbeat and the heart of what we do is, providing you with, a virtual coaching engagement, twice monthly meetings, dedicated strategic advice from a
Jack, I think you froze.
Oh, shoot. Can y'all hear me now?
Or did I freeze?
You're good. I think
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I think Haley, you might be frozen. Okay, so if I'm good, I'll keep going. But the heart of what we do is the coaching. But where the sort of magic happens or the rubber meets the road, as I like to say, is through our technology. So Network for Good for over 2 decades has been providing online giving and fundraising tools and services to nonprofits across the country. And we actually built out an all-in-one platform that y'all might be aware of to help manage donors, deploy powerful online giving campaigns, manage your email marketing, text to give, report building, peer-to-peer fundraising, a whole litany of sort of back office solutions that are all integrated and connected. If you join the Jumpstart program, you'll have access to all of those tools throughout the year-long program. Taj is going to give us a tour of the platform, but to be clear, we do ask that you use these tools during the year. It's a very sort of integrated and material part of what we do with Jumpstart is giving you, real time, refined strategic advice on how to evolve your fundraising and grow your fundraising outcomes. And the platform is really where it happens. It's the tool set that we're best positioned to advise you on, to give you, the most guidance and the most rich technical assistance to take strategy and planning and then put it into motion through a set of all-in-one tools. So we ask that you use these tools during the year as part of your grant experience. But by no means do you have to use them after the year. We're not here to handcuff you to anything. We'll talk about what happens in the second year later on in the session. But to be clear, we do ask that you use these tools. If you have a platform that you're using, we're not here to break up what's working. If you feel like you have, your back office technical infrastructure all set, it's working for you, we're not here to interrupt that. But if you don't yet have a platform, if you're using Excel spreadsheets or another form of management to manage your donors, this could be a way to sort of level up and ultimately make your life a bit easier with automations, building efficiencies, giving you greater and much more efficient ability to communicate with donors, steward them, build those relationships and track them and log them. And if you're using fragmented systems, like you have your donor management, you've got your online giving through PayPal or something like that, you have your email through MailChimp or Constant Contact, you're kind of in these silos, this could be an opportunity to bring it all together. So surely didn't cover everyone's infrastructure setup, but just wanted to give you some examples and things to think about as Taj takes us on the tour of this platform. So Taj, I'll turn it over to you, but just want to encourage everyone to enter questions in the chat as we go along here.
Thanks, Jack. Hi everyone. Happy Friday. I am the program manager for the Jumpstart program. So I had the awesome opportunity to just work with all of our Jumpstarters, and my goal is to help everyone make the very most out of their Jumpstart year. And but for today, I'm going to give you a nice little quick demo of the software and how it works, right? Because we want to be able to give you a view and see if this is a good fit for you, if this is a good opportunity fit for you. Sometimes tools aren't the best fit for an organization depending on where you're at, right? So there's a lot of bells and whistles to the platform, but I want to give you a nice holistic view of it so that you can see, okay, does this make sense for us at this time? So it is a cloud-based platform. It is designed for donor management. It's a donor management system, right? So it's designed for you to help organize, segment, and outreach to all of your individual donors. And you could also list donors as organizations as well. It's designed to help you ramp up your individual giving results through effective communication, multi-channel communication, and also aesthetic and nice campaign pages, right? And I'll show you how all those look like. Everything is cloud-based, so as long as you have access to internet, you have access to the platform. As you can see, this did adjust if I on a phone or something, or a tablet. If you have access to internet, you can access the system at any time on the go. So this is the main dashboard here. Gives you a nice little good morning, right? Right here is your kind of trailing 12 months of what fundraising looks like going through the platform. So you can see what you raised this year, your average donation size, how many donations you've received, anything you've received this month. Gives you a nice bird's eye view of how fundraising is going at this time for your organization. Scrolling further down, again, another at a glance visual, right? Helps you see your designations or what you're raising towards. You can set these funds up to fit your organization's strategic focus. This is designed for Pause for the Cause. This is a demonstration account. So no, we actually raised 90K here, but this is where you can see what funds are allocated towards what designations for your organization. You can customize these to make sense for what fits for y'all. And then going further down, you can see your donors donut chart. So the type of donors you have, whether they're active donors or lapsed donors, a lapsed donor is someone who's donated last year but not this calendar year. And then recurring donors are like subscription donors, right? People who donate monthly, any new donors this year. And then your year-over-year retention rates are also quickly accessible. You can see what your retention rates are. We put, I mean, this information is important, right? Because it actually costs more to acquire a new donor versus retaining one. And how you going to retain one if you don't even know who is a current donor, right? So that's where this data is important. It gives you that at a glance visual information so that you know how to steward and properly segment your outreach when you're targeting outreach to your donors. A donor who donated to you already is more likely to donate either the same amount or maybe slightly more. So you know kind of what to steward them for, right? Like, so if they were donated one time $100, maybe they'll be willing to be a monthly donor of $10 to $15. So that's something to consider as well. So Network for Good, we want to not just give you a tool, but we also want to provide like the best practices. So you'll see little things like this, like learn more about donor retention rates, which leads you to a help article that teaches you a little bit more about that. So yeah, best practices kind of baked into the platform as well. And then these are the campaigns. This is like my favorite part of the tool, I always like to say, because this is where you can narrate and storytell what you are raising money for and really get your mission out there, get your cause out there, rally support around what you do. A lot of donor stewardship is making the case for support. And these campaign pages hopefully give you that that medium to be very vocal with your cause areas and provide imagery and beautiful pages so that any web traffic that goes through your pages are more likely to give versus kind of what today you'll see a lot of different pages are kind of more transactional. We want to make it a nicer donor experience. So I'm going to show you examples of those as well. But just to knock out the dashboard, right here on the right hand side is your activity feed. This is basically like anything that's logged in the platform, you'll see it populate here. So whatever occurs in the system, it will always show here. And you can also filter them. So if you want to see like anything related to a specific, let's say maybe just specifically donations, these are all just donation related activity. And then last thing on the dashboard is the task section. And the task section is pretty much your digital to-do list, right? So you can add tasks here and they'll always populate. And one thing that's really cool is like if you set up a task such as like following up with Mackenzie, a donor, you can assign it to an admin on the system. And then you can set a due date. I will say like maybe 2 weeks from now. And there's some advanced options as well. So you can select the contact record it's associated to. You can put tags on it, notes. You could put a reminder for a day before. So send out a reminder. So the person that you assign it to will actually receive a reminder from the system. And you can also attach a file as well. So, when you create that task, it's a really good way to just get other folks involved. Small to mid-sized nonprofit organizations, chronically understaffed, but it doesn't mean there still might not be people who could help. You just got to kind of get them in the platform a little bit. So it's a good way to just kind of like assign people tasks and delegate work so that you're not the only one doing everything, right? So that's the task section. And that's the whole main dashboard here. But now I'm going to go into some examples of campaign pages. So this is an example of an everyday giving page. This is actual current Jumpstarter of ours. And they're doing great. I love that they got their page up here. And this is a customizable everyday giving page. So you can move this box to the left. You can move it to the right. You can change this heading statement here. Put your logo. You could put whatever cover photo you want in the background. And you can see they set the donate function to monthly as a default. And for folks to come in here and change that to being a one-time donation. Any donations that go through these giving pages, there is a flat 3% transaction fee, but that's it. And those are typically when you're going through the donation experience, the system will ask you if you are willing to cover that 3% transaction fee, such that the organization receives your full donation amount. So that is that does happen. But yeah, right here down below, you can add a description here. You could even include a video. Yep, so that's a regular everyday giving page here, and this would function as like your new donate now page. So the way you would do that is just simply take this link and add it to your current donate now button, and then folks who are on your donate page, folks who click your donate now button will be navigated to this secured page for the secure transaction to take place. So that's an everyday giving page. Now, the second type of page you can create is an events page. So this is an events page, St. Francis Neighborhood Center. They're having an event. You could have the title here, date of the event, location of the event. You could have a donation thermometer, some imagery here. All your campaign pages are have social sharing links, so you could share right from the page. Some descriptions down below include more imagery and a live attendees list. So this is an example of an events light page, which is included in the all-in-one donor management system. We do also have like a more robust events feature, which is not included. It would be an additional cost if that's something that you were interested in as an organization. It's an essential events page. And the main difference between the two pages is that an events light page is you can have unlimited free registrants. So unlimited free registrants, or if you have paid tickets, you can do up to 50 paid tickets. And after 50 paid tickets, it's $1 per ticket. Essential events is when you're using multiple ticket types. So you see like there's a general admission, VIP, or maybe there's a sponsored ticket. Like if you're using multiple ticket types, and it's like a very large scale event, like that's when it would be called an essential event, and that it wouldn't be included, but just stock into your all-in-one donor management system, you do have events light. So if you want to learn more about those two differences, I'll actually drop a link in the chat so that you have that information available to you. So next up, we got the peer-to-peer fundraising page. So this is an example of a peer-to-peer fundraising page. More Justice Columbia actually just started a peer-to-peer campaign, so I was excited to share this. So a peer-to-peer fundraising page, if you're not familiar with what that is, it's when you're leveraging the network of your current donors and supporters to advocate on behalf of your organization to raise funds. So when they create a peer-to-peer page under their name, anyone who donates to their pages, you'll receive that donor information and those donor funds, of course. But it's a great way to just kind of capture new audiences outside of your current audience. But at the same time, get your current audience to really like put your organization on their chest and share what you do, as opposed to just being a supporter, but also just kind of speaking on behalf of your organization to support your organization. So when you go to a peer-to-peer page, what happens is anyone who comes here and they want to start fundraising on behalf of your org, they can click right here on start fundraising, and they'll walk through a simple 5-step process, very quick. And then when they create their pages, again, everyone who donates to their pages, they will be that donor information is captured and it gets streamlined into your donor management system. So when you create all your campaign pages and you want to view them all, you can view them all in your donor management system, and you can see, kind of the progress of your campaigns. These are all your campaign pages will populate here historically. So any campaign page you ever create, they'll always show up here. And if you wanted to see how they're doing, that you can always check the status of them here as well. And one thing that's really cool is, when this is like kind of everyday thing, is like you're in here checking your pages. how's my Giving Tuesday campaign going? All right, let's see my donors who donated to this campaign page, and I want to send out a communication, right? Maybe I want to encourage them to share to the.
Taj, maybe you froze up on us. Like maybe internet challenges. Regina, thank you for your question. Hopefully I'm not frozen as well, but I'll keep talking, and if someone could give me a thumbs up, that would be great. Alrighty.
You're
So
good,
excellent. Well, we'll give Taj a minute to tune back in. But perfect timing on that question, Regina. We integrate directly with QuickBooks Online. So the online version of QuickBooks with some spade work, you can set that up, and it's a one-way integration. So when you add stuff in your donor management system, it'll populate in your QuickBooks Online version. If you use the desktop version, we unfortunately don't integrate with that. Do you use the online version, Regina?
We do. Thank you.
Excellent. You're so welcome. Yes, we always want to keep bookkeepers happy. Anyone else have any questions at this juncture while we wait for Taj to tune back in? No questions so far. No worries. Taj, you with us?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
No worries. I'm sure you're the only
Yeah.
one here that has ever had Zoom issues, so there's no empathy from anyone.
I know, right? I think I was right. I was in the campaign section. So can I pick back up, y'all?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I think I need to be made a host though first, so I could screen share. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So we are back in this thing. So I just want to kind of recap again, just coming back here. I'm in my campaign sections, and I want to view all my donors for a specific campaign, right? So I see. I think my internet's just super slow today for some reason. All right. So I want to view all the donors for this specific campaign. I'll go here under actions and I'll click donors. And then when you select all of them, you can actually do a bulk action of sending out an email blast, sending out a video message, or sending out any of these other types of communication. Point being that this donor management system, not only are you raising funds online through it, but you can also communicate out to your donors through it as well, right? Because some organizations, you'll typically use like one tool for communications, another tool for raising money online. You got two different logins. You might forget the password of one. You got to do the whole, verification. Like this is just one login, go to one place, do everything here. You know what I mean? So this is why it's designed this way. So you can follow up with your donors in the same platform you raise the money online from with them. So that is what the point is in regards to like going through your campaign pages and then communicating out to your donors. So one last thing before the internet just for some reason crashes on me. We'll see what happens. But I do want to show y'all, you're not just getting a tool through Jumpstart. You are able to work with a professional fundraising coach for the year. So you have 20 hours of coaching total for the year to work with a professional fundraising coach. And you can schedule time with them under when you click on My Tools. Whenever it loads here, there is a button that shows you your personal fundraising coach, and you can schedule right through the platform. There's a coaching portal to schedule time with your fundraising coach. So your coach can work with you through the platform, help you analyze your data with you, kind of like look through your campaigns and also see what is the best next step for your organization, help you with strategy, as opposed to having the technology yourself and just kind of trying things and hoping things work, throwing stuff at the wall and wondering if it'll stick or not. At least you have a professional fundraising coach with years of experience. We have average 20 years of experience across our whole coaching bench, that you can lean on for expertise to help you decide what the best next step is to leveraging your data and improve on your individual giving results through the course of the year. So there you go. So there it is right here. This button is right here is where you would set up time with your coach. And yeah, so that is in a nutshell the donor management system. Again, just to recap, the main dashboard gives you a lot of at-a-glance information for your fundraising data. You can create 3 types of campaign pages: an everyday giving page, an events light page, and a peer-to-peer page, all of which you can follow up with your donors and engage and outreach with them, communicate to them straight through the same platform, which includes emailing, video messaging, text to give, direct mail appeals. You can also do online forms. And then, of course, all of this is coupled with a professional fundraising coach who you can work with and lean on for strategy and guidance throughout the course of the year. Ongoing support, ongoing technical support. And to tie the knot, you also have me, your program manager, for the full year. So anytime you need help or you don't know what to do or you fell off track or like, oh, what's going on? Just contact me. I'm gonna get you right. Okay. But yeah, that's about it for me. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it back over to Jack. I appreciate y'all. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks, Taj. I think your internet's ready for the long weekend. Already checked out. But thanks so much for y'all's attention and patience. Great question, Christian. Please keep the questions coming, folks. We have a pretty, I think, ample degree of customization and automation, especially with thank yous and acknowledgements. That's a great item to cover with Chala one-on-one. Chala, if you want to go ahead and drop your calendar link in the chat, y'all will have the whole month of September to schedule time at your convenience with Chala, and she can kind of walk y'all through some of the more deeper elements that we weren't able to discuss today. And in terms of integrations, Christian, it really is designed to be a sort of standalone. We'd have to learn a bit more about what other CRM you're using. I can say surefire that we have a lot of our partners use like Salesforce for their programmatic and sort of client management, and then they used us they use us for fundraising. Just because, and not to harp on Salesforce, but I'm a recovering Salesforce user, so I'm allowed to. But Salesforce isn't the most user friendly for fundraising. So while we hate having silos, it often, depending on the organization, does make sense to have Salesforce or another CRM, and then have us for fundraising. So only y'all can make that determination, of course, but that's why the one-on-one meetings we find are quite helpful. But great questions. Keep them coming, folks. I'm going to go ahead and jump back to our slide deck here with about 20 minutes left. So I wanted to share some testimonials from program participants. We'll start with Web Girls Code. They just graduated from the Jumpstart program earlier this year, and now they're in our second year. They're in their second year with us. But Shambi says, I think, some really important words, in that it was a needed boost to their growing organization, supported their goals to organize their donor records. Within 60 days, they moved from multiple spreadsheets into a streamlined platform, and it helped stretch the bandwidth of their small organization that is scaling. They found great value in the email and text to give. It empowered their organization to create scheduled campaigns, increase their Midlands Gives outcomes. And the coaches were helpful too. They helped them build a case for support, which, if you don't have a case for support, sort of a unified core messaging document, that's something our coaches are adept at helping you create. It's something that you can help, build alignment with staff and board, ensuring that you're telling your story in the right way. And that's, something that's unified across, your different stakeholders. If you do have a case for support, but you feel like you might need to refine it or find better ways to purpose it, that's something that your coaches can help with too. Deploying it both through the Network for Good platform, but also through social media and, more public forums. The coaches, while they can be, masterful and helpful and getting the most out of the platform, their strategic guidance can go beyond, what you do within the platform. So definitely appreciative of Shambi and all her hard work. These testimonials, it's worth noting, come from organizations that really, embrace the program and leaned into it. That's definitely the case for Terry and Lisa's Care Connection. She says, with Jumpstart, we were able to do their first ever annual campaign and raise $11,000. Really exciting result for them, especially for a first attempt. She says it's a no-brainer in terms of, learning how to use a CRM, why to use one, getting support from a coach to help build and maintain financial sustainability. Center for Neurodevelopment, we're very grateful for the Jumpstart grant. They've truly transformed their fundraising. Building their fundraising capacity has furthered their mission, make life better for individuals with autism and their families tremendously. Donor education was a big focus of theirs, ensuring that donors understand the value of what they're doing and the importance of it, the sort of urgency, right? Being able to convey that through not just your storytelling, but with your sort of asks, right? And ensuring that, donors can see you as the conduit for the great work that they want to see happen in their communities. So that's, a big aim for us with Jumpstart. They were able to do that through the coaching and the technology. Lastly, I love this from Mark, Cola Jazz Foundation. Says, hands down, the Jumpstart program is vital to kickstart new nonprofits from fledglings into fully functioning, powerful nonprofit machines. Just some testimonials for y'all. I'm sure that folks have, data migration on the mind. It's almost universal when we bring Jumpstart, whether it's a long-term, community that we've been in, like the Midlands or new communities. Data migration is no fun. It's cumbersome. It can be stressful. We don't illusion you to that fact. If you've never done it before, it's probably not why you got into nonprofit and mission-driven work, is to reckon with data integrity and cleanliness and all of that. So just know that, of course, when we bring you into Jumpstart, if you join the program, you have a lot of support wherever your data is living. If it's in a CRM or PayPal, MailChimp, Constant Contacts, spreadsheets, we've seen it all, I think, at this point, and are prepared to help you with both human and tool support. And it all starts with our data bootcamp, which is on day one of the program. It's a 3-hour session. It's about as fun as it sounds, but it's really important, we found, to give you some hands-on support from our data specialists, folks who do this kind of thing for a living, and can help you reckon with, how to format, export your data, ensure that it's properly, sorted in Excel, with proper tags, like this is an individual donor, this is a husband and wife, or a household, a grant maker, institution, faith-based organization, corporation, whatever they are, ensure that they're tagged accordingly, and that migration process can preserve your data integrity. Now, it's not always perfect. In fact, most of the time, I reckon there are duplicates that might be uploaded that you need to reckon with on the other end when you get your new tool set. There may be some more cleaning to do, and it can take upwards of 60 days to really feel good and feel confident about that data integrity. But ideally, that time is formative and foundational to sort of elevate your fundraising to the next level. That's the big idea, is within the first 1 to 60 days of the program, is to feel really good about who your people are, when they give, how they prefer to give, and then you can begin using the system and your coach much more intentionally to drive outcomes, drive stronger stewardship and relationship building activities. That's the big goal with building data readiness. In terms of what happens in the second year, it's entirely opt-in. There was this question in the chat. If you choose to continue working with us, it comes at a flat rate of $200 per month, which is for the platform alone. That's what most organizations will choose to do in the second year. It's kind of like a take the training wheels off type of moment, where they don't continue on with the coach, which would come at an additional $200 per month rate. But generally, organizations, if they choose to continue with us, it's with the platform alone at a flat rate of $200 a month. We tell you that knowing that, one, this program is going to begin early next year. So early 2025, this is what you'll have to be thinking about, is this line item. ideally, and in many cases, the program is fruitful such that you've raised more than enough to cover the cost of the platform. For that reason, reinvesting is perhaps an easy decision. But even for those who raise more and realize, well, gosh, this was great, the coaching, the platform, we had a great experience, but we now realize Network for Good's not the right fit for us long term. That's okay. In fact, that's great capacity building as we see it. Is what you've learned. We need something like this or that in the way of a long term back end piece of infrastructure. So if you choose not to continue, we take that decision very seriously. We will help you consolidate and export your data. And Haley, I'll call on you in a moment just to speak on sort of Central Carolina Community Foundation's potential support of year two beyond the initial Jumpstart year. But before I turn it over to Haley and Elliot to provide more details on the sort of grant process here and next steps, a couple things to be thinking about. One is this program we found can be transformative. It can be, catalyzing in your fundraising and community engagement, diversifying your revenue, raising more unrestricted funds, acquiring more donors. All those things can happen through Jumpstart. We've seen it a great many times in the Midlands, but it does take time. So as an organization, we ask that you do your best to collectively commit to a minimum of 5 hours a week on average to fundraising activities. Now, that certainly might sound daunting, especially knowing that, a great many folks here are, chief everything officers, small but mighty shops, doing big work closest to our most vulnerable populations. It's hard to find 5 hours in your week to do fundraising. But we found that whether you're doing a program like this or just looking to grow your fundraising outcomes organically, it does take that prolonged, dedicated commitment to time. It's just that sort of time, that time commitment is really what's going to drive outcomes, whether you're doing Jumpstart or not. It can be shared collectively. So between you and a teammate or a board member or multiple folks, we encourage folks to, if you'd like, have multiple folks show up to the coaching sessions using the platform. It really is fundraising as a team game. So we encourage that. It's on average. So we know that some weeks and months, even, you're not going to be spending as much time on fundraising, but you will be spending more time around, Midland Gives or, Giving Tuesday, year-end giving, especially. That's sort of how it evens out. Lastly, we don't keep time cards here at Network for Good and Jumpstart. We're not clocking you in and out. That's not the case. It's simply a good faith gesture when you do apply and move forward with this grant process that you say, yes, we feel good and feel confident that we can commit the time to be successful in this program. And lastly, it's not 5 hours a week devoted to Jumpstart exclusively. 5 hours a week devoted to fundraising can mean you're spending time with your coach, taking action on their guidance, using the platform to deploy strategies, but can also include getting coffee with a donor and posting on social media, hosting a small cultivation dinner. There's lots that can happen within that time commitment that don't necessarily operate within the Jumpstart program. So Jumpstart's designed to be a backbone to all those activities, but there's much more that's involved in the 5 hours a week devoted to fundraising. So I hope that's making sense. The second one's pretty straightforward: is are you willing to adopt and try out this new platform to build out your fundraising infrastructure? So those two questions are things to be thinking about over the next month. There are additional eligibility requirements, including a small program cost share that we ask program participants to contribute toward the budget. And I think for the next slide, I will go ahead and turn it over to Haley. Do you want to start us off with a bit more about next steps and action items related to this grant?
Sure thing. So I'm mostly going to speak towards the CCCF side of things. We are also taking in applications for United Way of the Midlands. And so Elliot will speak a little bit more about their side of things. I am going to put in the chat our link to our webpage for the Jumpstart grant. It has all of this information in it, but just to kind of pull out a few things. We do have some eligibility criteria such as who can apply. So any kind of 501c3 in the Midlands, for us, that means if you have a physical location in the counties of Calhoun, Clarendon, Fairfield, Kershaw, Lee, Lexington, Newberry, Orangeburg, Richland, Saluda, or Sumter. So it's a few more counties than what the United Way of the Midlands map encompasses. We do encourage BIPOC-led organizations to apply, as well as those outside of Richland County. And then CCCF is actually going to be considering all of the applications, and then United Way of the Midlands will be considering those that come from partner agencies, United Way partner agencies. So anybody who is a partner agency but doesn't get selected by United Way would still be in the running for a CCCF grant if that is the case. We are not able to fund organizations that have operated for less than a year. Also, we are looking to fund organizations with an annual operating budget of more than $25,000. We find that there's limits to this program for folks that for organizations that are much smaller than that. You do want to have some fundraising history, some contacts and things like that. That seems to be the best fit with this organization rather than starting from scratch. So we do have that limit this year. We're also not able to fund public entities, educational institutions, or faith-based institutions with this particular grant. With the link that I just put in the chat, that is going to get you to our website page, which also has a button on there for it says apply now or apply here, something like that. That will get you into our grant portal for Central Carolina Community Foundation. As I said, both CCCF and United Way applications will be inside this portal. There's only one application to fill out, and both of us will be looking at the same applications. In fact, the bulk of the application is actually from Network for Good. It's actually the kind of their assessment that they have, and that is a link inside of this application. So you'll kind of get set up with us as a profile. You'll click the link inside the application, and then that's where you'll really fill out more information about your organization to see if y'all are a good fit for it. As far as a timeline is concerned, we'll be accepting applications from September 1st through September 30th this year. By early November, late October, you'll be notified whether or not you've been approved for a grant. The United Way folks might get a little bit earlier than that, so I'll let Elliot speak to that particular detail. But we'll both be accepting the applications from September 1st through 30th. That's the most important thing. In January is the start date, so it's usually around January 20th or so. But we'll try to get you the funds at the end of the year or the beginning of January. And you basically do the program from January 1st of 2024 until through January, the end of January in 2025. So it's kind of more like a 13-month program than a full 1 year. We do for the CCCF grants. Again, Elliot can talk about the United Way grants in just a second. We do require a match of between $500 and $1,000. You kind of tell us, it's a sliding scale, tell us kind of what you're able to do to support the program. Part of that is just to have some skin in the game for this kind of program. As Jack said, there are some expectations and some standards for what you'll need to do for your deliverables on this program. CCCF is not putting in any kind of expectations of certain dollar amounts you need to raise or anything like that. We really want you to use the coaching, use the platform, and from there, that's really the heart of the capacity building that we want to see, rather than putting some kind of dollar amount expectation that you have to raise through the program. And so basically you guys would put in a match between $500 and $1,000, and we would pay the remainder for a total of a $5,000 grant that you would pay directly to Bonterra whenever you contract with them in January. For year two, there are some options for that CCCF might be able to contribute some partial payment for that year. But but it really depends on how well you've engaged with the coaching in year one, and how engaged with the program you are in year one is whether or not we'll be investing in you for year two. But it's great that there's still that year two option for you, and of course you can still use the platform well after that too, fully funded by yourself as well. We also have, just so y'all know, we have a convening coming up of current and former Jumpstarters. That will be September 14th at 10 a.m. So from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m. Here at the CCCF offices in the Bull Street district. If you are interested in coming to that, I'll probably send out more information on that in our follow-up email next week. But you're welcome to come to that to see kind of more what the Jumpstart community is, hear about what some current users are doing, maybe get a preview of some of the tips and tricks and all that. And then we'll also be doing a training on integrating Jumpstart and using Jumpstart with Giving Tuesday, just kind of some training on that as well. So we welcome you to join that. Again, that's September 14th from 10 to 12 at the CCCF offices. So Elliot, did you want to talk a little bit about the United Way program, if that's any different than ours?
Yeah, I think you did a great job of hitting so much. And we're taking almost the exact same approach. I'll be very brief and wanted to say, the reason why we're combining these is actually to from multiple areas. One area is to kind of create a community, a larger community that's on a similar timeline, so that not only are y'all getting coaching, but you'll have a larger group of grant recipients in the area that maybe can be a support for you as you're going through. And it allows us to, like I said, to make our resources go further and work together. And so, everything that I would say now is really repeating what was said. So you did a great job.
Thank you. And I think that the last thing that I would say about this program is what you get out of it is what you put into it, whether it is your data, you put in good data, you get a lot of better information and data out, but also your level of engagement and time that you're able to spend with your coach, and with using your platform as well. The more you're able to spend on that, you really do see a lot of great returns from it in our experience over the years with it.
Haley, Elliot, thank you so much. I just can't thank y'all enough for supporting this work and for this partnership. If folks have any questions after we send this follow-up about the process that Haley and Elliot outlined, I can say with experience that both of them and their teams are extremely wonderful and responsive and here to make sense of, ensure you have a complete understanding of the process. In terms of the program, consider us your partners as well. Chala has dropped her calendar link in the chat. That's also available on the CCCF Jumpstart website page. Please make time with her if you haven't yet. You have a full month to do so, and Chala is just really excited to meet y'all virtually. We're also both excited to see some of y'all in person at the convening in less than 2 weeks now. So we'll be coming to Columbia, and we're just so thrilled to be coming to town. And with that, I think we're at time, and surely folks have lunch on the mind. So I will go ahead and go back into our Brady Bunch format, see if there are any last minute questions. Nope, just Chala and Haley. Thanks everyone so much for your time today. Hope y'all have a wonderful, relaxing, or adventurous long weekend. We'll be in touch. I think Haley will be sending out the follow-up by early next week. But otherwise, hope to see some of y'all at the convening, and have a great rest of your days.
Yeah, thank y'all, and happy Labor Day to everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.